Sorry about that, guys. Had a little technical issue here. All right, let me see. Are you guys hearing me? Are you hearing and are you seeing?
Yes. Yes, both.
Beautiful.
We blame the wolf for the blood on the floor, but who left the latch off the family door? Thomas sat with a friend in the room. He didn't know he was dining with his doom. The coin was silver, the kiss was gold. For a seat at the table, the vision was sold. The worst kind of war a soldier can fight is when his own army attacks in the night. The stranger stood outside the gate with a gun, but the door was opened by the trusted one. You say the white man came and took it all, but the black man whispered which giant should fall. Not every skin is kin. They smile in your face, but they let the devil in. They ride with you now, but they cut you in the end. The iron cannot cut the tree. No, no, until the wood agrees. No, 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 no. Don't look at the wolf, look at the path. The deepest knife is the one in your back. Oh, yeah. Patrice was screaming in the back of the car while the people he fought for watched from afar. Sankara is gone, Lumumba is dust, killed by the weapon of family trust. We cheer for the tyrant who tosses us bread and stone the prophet who wakes up the dead. You hate the reflection you see in the glass, so you let the armies of the enemy pass. Self-hate is the gatekeeper standing so tall, begging the outsider to conquer us all. Not every skin is kin. They smile in your face, but they let the devil in. They ride with you now, but they cut you in the end. The iron cannot cut the tree, not until the wood agrees. No, 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 no. Don't look at the wolf, look at the path. The deep as a knife is the one in your back. Not every skin is kin. They smile in your face, but they let the devil in. They ride with you now, but they cut you in the end. The iron cannot cut the tree. No, no, until the wood agrees. No, 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 no. Don't look at the wolf, look at the pack. The deepest knife is the one in your back. Oh.
Word up. That track had layers to it. Hold on, let me
Layers.
stop. Share. All right. Brother Ibrahim, let's talk about it. What was that track? What was the inspiration behind it?
Yeah, my brother and I will always brainstorm because at the heart of all hearts, the end point where we're going is understanding that nobody's doing this to us. Is the lack of understanding of self-identity and who we are, and the love of self. This is the end point. No matter how you slice the cake, no matter what structure you put in place, no matter how the thoughts go, it is what goes on within the psychological mind, the spiritual mind that is important. So sometimes we have to close our eyes to know that the problem we face comes from within. It's not out there. So we're trying to solve the problem with the structures laid for us out there without being able to see, to draw our own structures from within,
I hear
which
you,
falls
man.
back to love. And to
I
love,
did.
stand as a tree,
That
stand
was
as a
so
forest,
beautiful. Yes. Thank
and
you, honey.
to hold our hands as we move forward, knowing that the end point is learning to love self and learning to love the bigger community. So the sun came
Yes, your
from that
cousin ran
inspiration
in here.
to rise as the
So,
sun
yes, thank you,
and to
my love. I
shine.
love them.
And
I love
yeah,
them so
the
much.
sun does
Thank
not
you,
know
baby.
the sun does not know anything else but to shine.
Thank you, my love.
It
Hmm.
does not know.
I'm gonna put
All
them
it
in
knows
some
is just
water in a
rise up
minute.
and just
But
shine.
they're
So that's
gorgeous.
the
I
end
love
point of
you.
where
Thank you
we
so much for
intend to
always
go.
just
And yeah,
always
that's
loving
the
me.
inspiration of the song. It's
Brother,
Yes.
that's very
I
deep,
love you,
very
baby.
deep. Like I when listening to it, like I was
Okay.
what I was getting or understanding from it was the angle of
There
looking
you go.
outside of
We'll
ourselves,
talk
like we're
later
looking
then.
at
I
the
love
enemy
you.
outside of ourselves and not understanding that sometimes it's coming from within the
Okay,
whole
baby.
within our household, so to speak.
Mhm.
That was what I was getting from the track
Okay.
is like the skin folk not being kinfolk. I think we all know that expression oh too well. So it's not just because a person is of your race or nationality that means that they're on your side. And within the OFC, we talk about that all the time, like just explaining that our community is open to all races, all nationalities, because we're more focused on building with those who share the same values as us and see the importance of building together as a community beyond just race, because race is it's an important construct, but it is still just our outer clothing, but it's not who
Yeah,
we are, right? We are
yeah,
definitely more than what we're wearing on the outside.
yeah.
Um,
People, to add to what you're saying, just to add, if I may, please, when people talk about race, they talk about race, you know, but they see race as a skin or something. We're talking about the just quickly, people can come together under an identity, under a logo, under a company, under organizations. But the one thing that people have not been able to come under is the human
Race.
race.
Yep.
The human race encompasses everything. So when you go,
Yep.
when the person ascends, like the iPhone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, to a point where you become human, then that's the race that we want, the human race, and that is above all the BS that we go through. So it's very difficult to rise to the human race, to be human, to become human being continuously. It is
mm.
very difficult because people will not. Most of us are afraid to let go of what we know and hold on to the unknown because being human is something that we have not experienced yet as a group.
Well said. I love that.
Wow.
I'm a huge believer in that. Sister Tasha, did you have anything you
Well,
want to
I
chime
don't
in on?
know. Somebody just be dropping all the big bombs and don't be leaving none for nobody else. But
Love you too, sister.
we won't talk about him. Okay.
Love you all the
Oh
way.
my
Love you.
God,
Yeah.
brother, that was exactly my whole mindset. Is that we forgot that we were part of the same human race. I could take my heart and I could put it into a Spanish man, a white man. I could put it into a short person, a tall person. My heart can still beat in you. And so, that division that we have that has divided us and literally has taken us apart is something that, I mean, really, in all honesty, it was just there to make money. I think the pandemic was the thing that showed me just how easily they could make a division between us, because during the pandemic it was like everybody forgot about race, everybody forgot about everything. We were all locked in the house together, we all just all felt imprisoned, And we all felt the same feeling. We all know the same feeling. It didn't matter if you were black, white, Asian, it didn't matter. Everybody was just shut inside, right? And then
Mm.
they gave us a little bit of freedom. And that little bit of freedom had us ripping our families apart, relationships apart. You have to get this, you have to get that. If you don't do this, then you can't be here, and you're putting the family at risk. And they literally just found another way to divide us. And so I realized it's just we haven't played that human race yet. We've been running on everybody else's race, but we haven't been running on ours. And when we start doing that, then all the division and all this confusion will be able to eradicate, because when you love you, you'll be able to love everything else with ease. We're running the wrong race.
Wow. Claps, claps. I was looking for my emojis. That's because it's like, and I think the timing is it's interesting that we're just, we're kind of preluding with this. Just there's talks of some kind of new something coming. I haven't really had a chance to really look into it. But it's really important that we don't let them do to us what they did to us. Where it was really it was almost
It's
it was
horrible.
kind of sad to see
It's
how
horrible.
quick we were able to divide or separate. Like
Yep.
it's really it was just people were just looking for any reason. Like they're just like, yo, you know what? Like this is it. And it's we have to remember our humanity. We have to remember what unifies us. And it's funny because it's as we are evolving, it seems like we're going into a realm where there's humans, right? There's humanity. There's those who are building together as a human species. Then there's AI. So there's the cyborgs. There's those who are more connected to computers and generating, and like that's a whole other realm. And then we also have a whole other side of entities that are not native to the earth, right? Like, and we can't pretend like we're on this planet by ourselves. There's other entities cohabitating here with us who
Oh,
don't
for
have the
sure.
same zeal or love for Mother Nature or Gaia as we all do. And you could tell in their actions, you could tell in the way they
Mm-hmm.
operate, you could tell in
Mm-hmm.
how what they're pouring into the water, into the air,
Mm-hmm.
into the atmosphere, how they're dealing with humans. Like don't, and I feel that, and sorry for going deep down this rabbit hole here,
I'm with
but
it.
I feel one of our challenges as a human species is that we think we're up against other humans. So we
And we're
function
not.
in a way where it's like, well,
Yes.
we're doing this to each other, not realizing there's actually a species that is not native to here, not of a human origin, and who does not have our best interests at heart, and
Yep.
who is extremely manipulative and is getting us to turn against each other as humanity. But as a human species, if we were to see our commonality, see ourselves as one, build together as if we are a human species and we want the best for each other, despite the money that we put in between that creates a distraction, despite the objects that we put in between that creates a distraction. Like these are it's I feel we'd be way further ahead as a human species, because right now we're again following the lead of an entity that is not native to us and doesn't function in the same ways we do. So all right, so that's my 2 cents on the
Mm-hmm.
topic. I could go deep, but
I
brother
agree.
Ikriba, and sister Kes Festa from the Earth Center, from the House of Kepta. Sorry, glad to have you guys with us. If you guys want to introduce yourselves to the community, you're welcome to.
Sure, I'll let my sister introduce herself first.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can everybody hear me well?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yes? Okay, perfect. Well, glad to be here with you. I'm Hefesta, and yes, I'm part of the House of Kepler because I heard you talking about humanity, and that's what it's all about today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's all about getting back to our humanity. So basically, that's what I'm here. That's why I'm here. And that's the idea of sharing with everybody and yeah, to get to the point where we can find that common ground whatever the differences that we may have, but we need to find that common ground to walk together back to our humanity.
Hey, well said. Thank you, Queen. Thank you. Welcome, and thank you for being a part here with us. Um, Brother Ikebiro, you want to introduce yourself, let people know who you are, what you do, what you represent?
Sure. Thank you very much, Pharaoh, and thank you everyone for your introductions. I mean, yeah, been there, still there, will always be there for humanity, bringing about what humanity produced of like the greatest things related with the traditions and those traditions that were kept by bloodlines that realize how much humanity can go into its downward path when knowledge is just erased. And erasing knowledge is a part of how you make sure that you bring about human beings who are powerful uh, to work for something else than themselves or their community. So I want to make sure to bring this message for us here as a whole. I'm in Caribra, Enrique Fista. We went through the initiation that was brought back by the Gomu people in the Niger Valley, and we're really blessed not only to receive that knowledge, but as we receive, we have to give back. So that's one of the reasons why we're here. Peace.
Give thanks to that, Queen and King. Thank you guys for being here with us. We appreciate you guys. So we're just well, we're just transitioning now because we address different topics every week. And so, as you guys know, we usually start off with just a little bit of music. We reflect a little bit about on the music that we listen to, and then we transition to a topic. So we were just dialoguing. Sorry, quickly on the music that was played today. Again, it was an inspiration by our brother Ibrahim, who shared a track that really brought us back to like our roots, so to speak. And what I like about it, I feel that it told the story in the right context because it explained that it's not really like part of our problem is ourselves. Like we are looking outside when we should be looking inside, and a lot of times we're also building like using race, and we're putting race as a factor, not realizing that it's not necessarily race because there's people who share the same tones as you who aren't on the same frequency as you. So that was just what we had shared this morning. I don't know if you had 2 cents that you want to share on that particular topic. If you do, you're welcome to share it now. If not, then we're going to transition into the next phase of the meeting today.
Yeah, if I could share some additional thought about it, is that our ancestors understood after a great while that we all have ancestors, and that it's important to have to build the relationship with our ancestors, but at the ultimate point, all the ancestors are just one. But it's really hard for us to be able to grasp that powerful idea as human beings. So it's on the spiritual realm, it's actually kind of the unity is there. So there's a place for ancestors for them to communicate between each other as if they were only one. So yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to add. It's something that may take some while to be understood because of Earth also brings diversity, right? And diversity means that wherever you are putting your roots, you will have to you will develop a symbiotic relationship with the place where you are. All right, that is also something that is not shouldn't be neglected because of the fact that Earth in itself as an entity is an entity that we hold a relationship with it. And even our ancestors being buried somewhere, they hold a powerful relationship with the place where they are buried. So this is about the connection between the Earth and us, Earth spaceship and us, but us also being one on the spiritual rim. Yeah, there is a deep connection between us as human beings, but also with Earth, and Earth brings about that diversity. That's what I want to add. Thanks a lot.
Yo, brother, what you just added there is huge. It's really cool that you just added it real casually and calm,
Right, like it
but
was
it's
nothing.
like I think on a huge level, and I look forward to being able to deep dive on these type of topics because again, like that part that you just mentioned, that ancestrally we all have like one ancestor, like we're all coming from the same fabric. I think that is a huge part that like I look forward to the day where we could see that because again, it brings us back to our root, like beyond where we're born. It's like ancestrally where we came from is a huge thing. And then the other part about our connection to this planet, it's huge, like in terms of our, and this is something that's been kind of pressed in my spirit, so I really appreciate you sharing it. But it's like our connection between us and Gaia, between us and this planet, is beyond just we're inhabitants of the earth. I do feel that we have an interconnection, almost like some like, like a galactic interconnection with the planet. And I feel that when us as a human species starts to see our connection to each other, our connections to the astrals, as well as our connection to the earth, I feel we're going to be in a different place because we're no longer going to operate as if we are humanity and we have dominion over the earth and other beings, and we could throw garbage on the ground because, whatever, we are man and we are powerful. We will bring it back down to a base where we
That's like
understand
it.
that there's an interconnection between
No,
us
no,
and the
it's
earth,
okay.
and we won't throw garbage on the ground because
Hi,
it's throwing garbage on
honey.
ourselves. We'll respect the
You
planet on a level because
too.
we
Girl, I
respect
miss your ass
ourselves
too.
on a
I'm like,
level. We'll
okay,
respect each
fucking
other
someone needs to
because
hurry up
we
because I
see
need my
each
friend
other
back.
in each other. We see what we do for each other, what we're doing for ourselves, and
Me
as a turn
too.
doing
Don't
it for the
worry, we're the
planet. So
same.
that
But
trifecta there, that is,
I know the
if
love
like
is
people talk
real.
about a utopian world, like a world where everybody sees each other
Look,
as
but
one
I
and sees
know
the
the love
planet
is
as a part
real,
of this
girl.
one, my God,
Oh,
it's a
I've
new
been
day.
doing good,
So thanks for
man.
sharing.
I've been
That's
doing good. Been
that's
running,
heavy.
shaking, doing.
So
Oh fuck, I've been
the
running
we
it up.
wanted to dive
So
into the
I'm
topic
feeling
of
good.
the ancestral, the Kemetic calendar. Um, Now
Girl,
I want to give a little
I've been
context,
working
and
my
I want to
butt
see if I
off.
could get it because
I
as we were
do like
talking, I was
three
pressing play
lives.
on my thing, and I'm not sure
Yeah,
if it's
I'm
because
all
I'm
on it
sharing.
right now.
Actually, I
Uh-huh.
stopped sharing. So we have
Mm.
brother, if you
Girl,
could
I
give
don't
us a
even be
little
knowing
bit
how to
of
do it. I do
background
one at seven
of the
o'clock,
Kemetic
then I
calendar.
do one at 10 o'clock,
What the
and now
Kemetic
I'm
calendar
on one at,
is,
right now
the
1 o'clock. But
importance
I
of
just turned
it,
my camera off.
how we could go about receiving it.
But
Then
I'm
I'm gonna
doing
play a
it though,
short clip
girl.
from
What?
a
I told them I'm
DVD
taking over the world. I really
series
mean
that we
that.
have that was produced by the Earth Center. So I don't know if you want to give a little bit of background about that
Okay,
as
look.
well.
Wherever I go,
So
we
we're gonna
going
play a
together.
short clip of it, then we're gonna talk about it. But the plan is to have an ongoing
How you
series
been doing?
where we could play short clips from our
So
ancestors
far,
who
it's really
provided this
beautiful. It's
amazing
so beautiful.
I
It
guess
has
you could
been
say two-part
honoring the
documentary here, a
moms,
double
and
disc documentary on the ancestors on
my
the
daughter got
what
me
the
some
title is, the
flowers.
sidereal calendar and the traditions of time,
Yeah, cause
um
she's doing
time
stage
division.
today,
So
so she's
yeah, so if you
working.
want to
So
give us a
she's
little bit
like,
of
so she
background
got my
about that, brother
nephew to go to the
Ipiva, and then
store and
I'll
buy me
dive into the
flowers.
DVD.
She's like, "Mommy, at least
Sure. Thanks a lot.
I
So
got
this is
something going. I couldn't be there,
well,
and I can't do what I would
it's
want to
hard to
do.
start
But just know that I
a
acknowledge you."
conversation by
She called.
talking
She
about what's a
messaged me since
calendar, right?
5:30 this
Because
morning.
it's something really
I'm like, "Girl, you
deep that
fine."
took, I
I'm
mean,
like, "I'm wearing your
centuries and
jewelry
centuries to
today. I
be
got your
built.
perfume
All right,
on."
so
I'm like,
our
"You've been buying me
ancestors
gifts for
took
years. What the fuck you think? Like
uh,
this is the
uh,
only one?" Let me show
generations
you
and
how much you've been
generations of
taking care of me over the
bloodlines that
years.
were dedicated
I'm like, my
to
rings, everything. I'm like,
how to
Mother's Day,
finding out
Mother's Day,
where
Mother's
we
Day.
could find reference points. All right.
I'm like,
Points of
I'm
reference
like,
were
girl, you
really
ain't got to
important in
stress
order
that.
to be able
You've been
to
doing me good all
position
this time.
ourselves or identify ourselves in
So,
space and time.
I'm really,
All right.
I feel
So
good
that
today.
was one of the most
I feel
important
good. I
thing.
normally on Mother's
And
Day I'll be a little bit sad
it's with a lot of
because
humility that I'm
some if I
here
don't get to
today
be with her, I'm
to be
sad,
able to at least
But
introduce
this
that
year I'm
concept
feeling
and
fucking
also
fantastic,
why
girl.
a calendar was necessary. Because
I'm like, I'm a
that
mama all the
knowledge,
time.
as you
Cause now I
understand,
guess because
didn't
she's
start
getting bigger
with
now,
me or with my
you
sister
know.
Kapista, right? So we are really humble of
Yes,
having received
exactly.
that knowledge that help us not only grasp the amount of knowledge that
You
is
ain't gonna need no
behind what
cane,
we
girl.
call
You hanging
time.
out with me,
Like
your
when you
knees
say
is
I
only
don't
gonna
feel
get
time, I
better
don't
and
have
better.
time
What
to
the
give you
fuck's
slides
wrong
if
with
you
you?
have time or not. You know, you don't even know your date of when you'll be out
We
of it,
only get
right?
fine with wine,
So
darling. We
how
only
do
get
you even
fine
know
with
if you
wine.
have time or not? How,
That's it. You
where
go
are
come
you?
hang out with me
Where
for
are
the
you
summer. You gonna be
situated
just
in this
fine.
existence? Are there points where you can be where you can say, okay, for instance, with meeting my sister here, I told her, let's
Okay.
meet us at the
That's all
crossroad
right.
of Saint Michel and Henri Bourassa. So that's a reference point.
Hell yeah.
I went
I'm
there and
excited.
she was there,
When you
right?
come here, you ain't got to see nobody.
But
You come
that
right here and
comes
see
with
us.
the
Shit.
understanding that
The fuck?
there are reference, there's a grid of reference that we are able to put on Montreal in order to find ourselves. But what about the grid of reference of space and time in the universe where we are?
Oh, Keisha.
So we're not responsible. Who even built the
The short
grid
little dark skin one?
of reference of the universe? It's not someone called Julius Caesar. It's not people. It's something above human beings. You
Michelle.
know, it's above of point of reference that came out of
I'm like,
discussions.
you
It's
said light
point of
skin. I'm like,
reference that
yes,
actually
Michelle
bring
is
about
black in our heart. Yes.
equilibrium to the universe, right? It's stable. It's
Yeah.
where you can
Yeah, she
pinpoint
came. They came down
a
not long
place
ago.
and call a name,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
that name,
We'd be
that person
excited.
who
They
has
came
that
down, I
name
think, in
will turn
in
around
April.
and say, "Oh, you called me."
Get your
You
fucking
know,
nails, girl.
so
Look
that
at you.
is something
Like, you know
that
what I
is
mean?
above
You
the
just,
both
it's
of
not
us.
simple. It's like,
It
No,
took a long,
I
long,
got
long
10
time
fingers.
it's
for
simple for
our
me, but
ancestors
this
to
is
be
a lot for
working
me.
on
I got
this
10
type
fingers.
of
I need 10
knowledge, body
expressions.
of
You know
knowledge,
what I mean?
understanding not only the physical
I'll live
points of
vicariously through
reference,
you.
but
You know
also
that?
the
You know what I'm saying?
non-material
Look,
points of reference.
I'm gonna copy some. I'm gonna
Are
copy some.
there correspondences that we can use in
I'm gonna
order
take one
for
of
us to
those. I'm
be
gonna
able to
add one of
say,
those to the
hey,
next
I
name.
know that person
Just
who
one of
came from
those.
that
Yes, it's
place and that
beautiful.
time?
It's simple.
Or
It's
even
cute.
I
No, that's
know
gorgeous.
myself
You too. You have
because I
all
came
those
from
nice
that place
different
and that time.
styles.
Thank you,
So
honey. I
the
be trying to
calendar
show
is
up.
all about that.
That's how you
It's
show up,
about
baby. I know. It's
at
my
least
hair,
My hair,
knowing
my
where
nails, and
you
my
are.
socks.
And
That's
our
the best I could do.
the
My
teachings
socks. My socks
that
is always my socks would
received
be crazy in the
said one thing
summertime.
really
Yeah.
you have different color socks.
important
Oh, I got
about
socks
this
with
subject.
sayings on it and shit.
So
Fuck
it's
everything. Bright,
the
bold
quote is
Good
colors.
to know.
you can
Yeah.
correct me if I got it a little
Oh,
wrong,
please.
but the quote is
I'll bring you different kinds from different
for
all over the
whom
place.
who
Oh my
doesn't
god,
know
I love
what time it
I
is
really, 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 really love
is
socks, babe.
just wasting its
Like
time
I have an
during life.
addiction to
Because I'm
socks.
like, I find them funky, and I'm just like, who the hell?
And that's really deep
Like, who wears
because
With the
knowing
airs,
your
everything, I'd
time
wear them all.
is
Nose
connected with
hanging
your life.
off, I would wear them all.
Okay, good to know. Good
And
to know. So instead of like bracelets
it comes
and
to a
things,
point
like
Socks.
where
sock just says it
every
all.
A
single
sock says it all.
so-called civilizations in the world, maybe in
Oh yeah. Oh,
Asia,
I
in
love socks. Like I
America,
really,
in
really
on
love
the
socks. Like
continent
I love
of
socks.
our beloved continent
Good
in
to
Europe,
know.
try
I'm
to
gonna.
say, "Oh,
Now
we
you
have
found
our
out
own
my
calendar,"
addiction. Look,
and
now
our
you found
calendar
out
is
my
based on the
addiction.
moon, let's say, or the sun, or so
Because
on and so forth, right?
I'll buy you
Because
socks before I buy
knowing
you
what
anything else.
time it
And then
is
I
and
have to
where we
check
are
myself and be like,
is
I don't think
so
everybody wants
important to
socks.
start building
It's true.
things
That's
up
right.
But I will
to the point
faster
where
buy
you
you a pair
build
of
a
socks.
human
So
being,
many.
you
I'm just
build a
like,
community,
Oh,
you even build a civilization with it.
yeah, you okay? All
So
right, good.
bright,
that's kind of the
bold
introduction I
colors,
wanna
Yeah.
put
shit
up
dangling.
in
Yeah, I'd
simple.
wear them
I
fucking
don't know if I
all. I
could say
love
simple
socks.
words, but
The crazier the better.
a word that could mean something
Mm-hmm.
for us as human being. Why
I
should
love.
we even have calendars? You know, why would it even make sense? Why can't I have just a calendar of somebody else? You know, so that's how I could introduce it.
Brother, that was a great introduction, because it gave a good context. Like, and you gave an example that makes it very easy for people to understand. Like, you happen to pick up the sister and being able to give her a point of reference to say, this is where we're meeting. For her to, first of all, you could, if you give her a cross street that she doesn't know where it is, you might give her, you could be like, meet me at the corner here, and she's like, cool, but she has no idea where these corners are. It's useless. It's
Yeah,
not like you're giving a direction that's futile. So that's an
absolutely.
amazing reference for us to understand where we are as a people. Like, we're talking about doing things and where we don't understand the timing of it. We don't understand why or when,
Absolutely.
like the ideal things, but we do have a guideline. We do actually have some a spiritual or an ancestral guide that we can be using
Yeah,
to know when is the best time to make, make certain prayers, make certain requests, make certain asks, be at certain places. Like, there's an order. And funny enough, the because the planet that we're on has an order. The spirit, the realm that we're in has an order. Although, and I do, what I appreciate about life is that we're all, we have a certain level of freedom as spirits. We're all here to be creators. We're all here to live a unique experience. But there's a guide, there's a format to do that in, where we can maximize the experience, so to speak, where we could get the best out of it, where we get the best not just for ourselves, but for our previous generations that sowed into us, and for our future generations that are counting on us, right? There's an amazing order that, if we understand that at its root, we could really maximize this life experience, and have a really good time with it.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, okay,
You're right.
cool. So while we've been talking, I was getting a little bit hot because I don't know what was happening. I like this whole time I've been watching this clip, and now that I go to start it, it's not playing. So now I'm like, okay, I'm not sure why, but what is working is the second clip for some reason. Guys, we're gonna just play a
Well,
little bit of it just to see what it's
oh,
talking about. You know how the
go
ancestors work. Sometimes everything happens in a weird divine order. So it's gonna put us right in the middle of something, because I was trying to start us from the beginning, but right now it seems like it's putting us right in the middle of something. I'm gonna play a little bit of it. Guys, we're live here, so this is what happens, okay? Like, it's like the clip I was trying to start, it just, honestly, this whole time we've been talking, I've been trying to get it to start. I put on the second clip, it starts no problem. I'm like, hey, let's just go with the flow. We're gonna let it play. We'll let it run for like 5, 10 minutes or so, just to take it in, and then we'll talk about it, okay? Meantime, we'll see what's going on. And so it's like we're gonna start right in the middle. Next week, if anything, ideally we'll go back from the beginning and continue. But it seems like today this is where we're starting, so we're just gonna go with it. All right, all right. We're gonna share screen, share this, share audio.
Let's go back to one thing. While we were talking before about the length of the days, okay, let's try to calculate if this is the length of the day. We talk about how the science plays a trick by introducing a notion of precision, right? But we're going to push that forward, another trick. The notion of the leap year. The scientific notion of a leap year is the fact that that the year is exactly 365 days and a quarter, right?
Yes.
Okay. You see, that's by saying 365 days and a quarter, it comes to strengthen that notion of precision. So which means 365 And what? Huh? 0.2. Oh, 0.25, sorry. 0.25 days. When you hear that, you go, man, these people really know everything. I mean, that means what? A quarter of a day will be 6 hours, right? So, which means they are capable of calculating that a whole year has exactly 365 days and 6 hours. Man, I mean, nobody will hear that without thinking, man, you're talking to a genius that's really figure everything out. But yet then, how do the 3 minutes that are missing in every day fit in? You see? Okay. But to be able to calculate that, now we're talking a year. We're talking about the notion of revolution, which means the notion of the earth circling around the sun. To obtain that with that much precision, doesn't that start with knowing the distance between the earth and the sun? Doesn't that start with that? And doesn't that even go on also based on knowing the parcours, the distance that the earth takes? If you don't have the distance between the earth and the sun, and you don't know the course that the earth takes, how would you be able to know to this precision? Now, another thing, the leap year is not a new discovery. Now they can try to fool you by saying, well, they have a mega computers that figure that out. But 4,000 years ago, we talked leap year. Okay, 100,000 years ago, we talked leap year. That's why I interrupt that so that we can make a comparison. Now, to have a leap year, okay, hey, even the beginning of the Gregorian calendar or the Julian calendar, they talked leap year too, but they didn't have computers. So how now it becomes like, wow, my white man is so smart. That man, he calculates so much. That man, a leap year, he came up with that. That's how we talk usurpation. When people, take what doesn't belong to them, but they have to come up with some excuse. They have to come up with a way to explain that and get you to, a way to fool the knowledge, So, why it's hard for them, the science, to explain leap year, and yet they always make it a taboo. You don't talk about it. It's just there. It's a leap year. Whatever excuse you need to have to maintain it, you maintain it. Because without a leap year, it throws the even notion of time off. It doesn't work. I'm going to tell you why the leap year is there. And keep in mind that your science, your mighty white man's knowledge could not bring that to you. He could not. Even if I stop it now, there is no way a white man can explain you the leap year without having to come to the sidereal calendar. There's no way. There's really no way. Because the leap year has everything to do with the zodiac star. You see? Now, you have to understand that to have a leap year, You have to understand what a year is. You remember how we've been breaking this, the notion of the cycles. The years don't work. The sun, the cycle of the sun is not working. The moon and all this don't work. So it's the notion of a year. What we call 360 years, 65 days, it's not really a year. We just call it a year because there is a seasonal cycle in it. Winter, summer, spring, autumn. So because, it fits in that, we chose to call it a year. But in Kemet, that was we were calling the farmers' years. That's what farmers go by because it rhythm their production, the period for inundation, the period for, plowing and all this. But astronomically speaking, the year is 1,461 day, which makes it exactly 4 times this. You see, that's why every 4 times that they decide let's add 1 day, because astronomically speaking, this is a year. So by adding 4 times this, you come short 1 day. Since you come short 1 day, you add that day one way or another. And why a year is this long? Now that takes us to the cycle of Sotis. Yes.
I feel like we're about to get into a whole other discussion. I I feel like I'm stopping us at a point here. So right now I stopped us at 8 minutes, about 45 seconds in. And the ancestors work in a very miraculous, like very, very special ways because guys, I'm telling you, I kid you not. While we were talking from 1 o'clock, I've been trying to play the other clip and I was like, why aren't you working? And then my spirit's like, play the other clip. And I was like, okay. And it worked. And I was like, here we are. And it put us right in the middle. I'm grateful for it because it gave us a glimpse of the knowledge that he's coming with, without us understanding there's a whole DVD before this. I just started part 2 and I played 8 minutes of part 2. But I feel it just from what I heard there was such an exciting little piece. Because he's dropping so much knowledge. So now again, a brother and sister from Kepta, this is you guys' wheelhouse. So like I have questions, I have comments that I would like to put out. I don't know, Sister Taja or Brother Ibrahim, Ibrahim, sorry, if you guys also had questions, or anybody who's watching online on YouTube, if you guys have questions or comments, even just about the little bit that we just took in, I would like for us to be able to say them, put them out, and then you guys can feed into us, share from what we just heard, and then from maybe some of the questions that we might have or comments that we might have. Okay, so you could go ahead, Brother Ibrahim, if you had, and I'll ask questions last.
Oh, thank you. I really, really like what I've forgotten our sister that spoke first from the Kempter. Is that House of Kempter? Is that it?
Kepta.
I kept her, exactly. Because she spoke from a point that no matter what is happening, we have come to the point where we have to put aside all these differences and find a common ground where we can advance and get to the point of being human. And to come to a common goal means we have to let go of something. That's what the evolution is. When you see iPhone 5 goes to iPhone 15 and the system as worse before, we used to use maps to drive on the streets. And now everything has been upgraded to a format of the internet where people have it on the phone. And what that does is normally before we used to be able to, we used to be able to store all the information on our heads. So I knew all the numbers of my mom, my dad, my brothers, my uncle, everybody was in there. Even the streets to drive from here to Toronto, everywhere, I knew it off by heart, you know, and that's self-trust. That's trust in self. So what this technology does to us is putting trust in something that is not us. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying, like, you know, we let go of ourselves and we depend on the system that is not really us. So by so doing, memory is erased, connecting it with what our brother said in the first place. So our brother spoke, I just wanted to add this to it. Our brother spoke about, he spoke about, I wrote it down. He spoke about, was it time? As in the connection of meeting at Edinburgh, for example. What I have to, yes, the time. And he spoke about at the highest of all high, at the point, all ancestor becomes one, you know? So they become one. So it doesn't really matter, like, you know, who brings the message. We get the message, we're one. That's where we intend to go. So evil has entered into our homes on a spiritual, psychological level.
They entered into our minds.
This is the battle we face. So when you spoke about, like, you know, different entities coming in, human, being human, and those who are not human, literally speaking, evil has entered into our homes, and you can see it from a psychological, emotional, spiritual perspective, which is all one. And then you can see the manifestation of that in our homes, like in physical geographic locations. You can see that. I can see it all the time, and it is heavy. As an individual person, it is heavy in the chest. It's a heaviness that needs to be cast out, and can only be cast out from a spiritual level if we focus on the air that we take in and we take out. That's it's very broad. I just put it like that. Take in and take out, because the thoughts that come in the mind and the operation is psychological. It's inside the mind without realizing it. So when we try to solve this problem from outside, then we're letting go of the inside, which is the home that we have as a people. You can see it from always. So to be human is to be very, very vulnerable. To rise to being human, where you're soft-hearted and you're kind and you are even willing to sacrifice your own life to pave a way for the next generation. It's a vulnerable state, with reference to birth of our children. Talking about calendar, we're talking about calendar and birth. I'm 50, so I'm fortunate to have been born in Africa and to have seen how children way back, how the names that were given to children were designed from the things that our fathers saw, like, you know, with nature, what was happening to this tribe when this child came, what was the visions that the people in the environment saw, and when did this child come? So they were able to give names to our children based on what they brought into the community. It wasn't just random names. So these children live by that guidance through their life, like, you know, trying to be that vision that they are coming in from the spiritual world. So that's something that we lost. We cannot explain, no words. I will stop with this. I was asking that no words can explain the Almighty. So what we're saying right now, there's no, when you get to spirit, words are tools that are made to try to express, to pass on knowledge. But on the deep, deep real, the air you breathe, you don't see it. You don't see the air you breathe. You cannot divide the air that you breathe. But this is what gives us life. Even you can take it up to the sun. You cannot divide the sun. You cannot divide anything that is created by pure love. We cannot. So no words can explain that, and no structure set in place can bind the almighty essence. The almighty essence. So that you can take that to in its true form. So our spirit, at its truest form, being one with all these ancestors, cannot be bound into a structure. So this is what I want to add to that. And yeah,
Thank
to
you.
behold is to be, yeah.
I definitely want to answer.
Love.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Man, that was deep. There are many levels to it. Sister Taja, the floor is yours.
Oh,
And then
yes.
I'll ask my question and give my comment. I got I found from Kepta. I hope you guys are taking notes because we have all kind of things, and and then we'll give you guys a floor to respond and to give your perspective and or to answer. Yes, Sister Taja.
Well, what I've, what I in listening to what you said there, brother, there's something that it started to spark in my spirit. You know, we don't have to look for that divine thing. I realize, and it's something in this work that I do, and even with something within myself that I'm learning more and more and more. Time is linear, right? So the past, the present, and the future is all literally right now. Because if I start talking about last week, that's because I have to go into my mind and I have to pull out that Rolodex from last week, right? Because that's stored in my mind. Then, even if I want to focus on the future, I have to build a picture within my mind of what that future looks like. And I'm doing it all still in this present moment, in this right now. So the time energy that we so got trapped up with this clock, with this, this tick, 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 that we were never supposed to be so bound by it. We were supposed to let it be able to show us, right? Because here's the thing, with time being as linear as it is, our memories and these things were only supposed to give us a guideline of what we did. We were never supposed to get stuck in it. And when we utilize that power of I am, when we really start to take that accountability and that responsibility for ourselves, for every word, for every thought, for every breath that we take, when we start to take that full accountability, then we will start to see that divine being right before us, because then the hate comes off and all that division comes off. When I could look at another man and not see anything on him but that divine energy, and want to help him, want to guide him, want to hold that door open for him, then I'm doing what the divine energy wants me to do. But when I'm fighting with myself, I'm instantly going to fight with you. When I don't like myself, I'm instantly going to find something to pick at with you. We keep looking for this outside narrative to be able to guide us to our truth. But really, all we have to do is keep listening to what is being told to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from within. And then all of a sudden, that connection that we think that we have to go seek, we realize that we already are, is, and will always forever continue to be. Thank you. Look, I'm like, hats off. It's Mother's Day. I'm feeling myself.
Yeah, that is the energy. Oh my God. That's so deep. Okay, what was my question? So okay. Okay, so what are we choose? Okay, so one of the things that stood out to me, there was two main things that in the teaching we just listened to. So one was the fact that 1 year is actually 1,461 days.
Yep.
That part, I really want us to unpack that because
yes.
Taj, I see your hand back up.
I'm sorry, because you just said that, and it also compares to the womb, right? It's Mother's Day. It compares to the womb. A baby sits 10 months in a mother's womb. That baby actually ages 900 plus years in human years in the womb. So that baby's now coming out 1 or 0. That baby's coming out almost 1,000 years old. And you just said that a year is the equivalent of 1,000 plus years. So you just made boom, light bulb. So I knew I was in the spirit with it.
Well, I just, sister, I'm just a messenger. I just wrote it down because I was like, yo, I was
Wow.
like, this is something that somebody just said. I said, let me note this down so we can take that in properly. One
Yes.
year is 1,461 days
Makes
now,
so
and to
much
me, I
sense.
don't know, but that makes more sense to me. Even if I don't fully
Yes.
understand it, I just heard, I'm like, because this, first of all, the fact that this 365 seems to go so fast and it seems to like, it's like you can't really accomplish anything really. And it doesn't even match up. Like there's so many things, like
Yeah.
understanding how precise the universe is. The fact that it's so janky, I'm like, this is definitely
Yes.
man-made is why it's so weird, like so abjucky. Like they're just trying to force it in and say this is what it's supposed to be. But it's like something about it just doesn't flow like feels like it's supposed to flow. So that was my first thing is like let's unpack this. Second was like I just kind of just wrote it in big and with, like I might as well put hearts around it because I'm like, yo, imagine we could go back to living like farmers, but for our regular life. So even though we don't all farm, technically we should be in some aspect, but treated life like that, like the cycles, like understanding there's a time where it's for us to reap, there's a time for us to sow, there's a time for us to just chill. There's a time for us to, like, there's a time for us to be appreciative, but understand that it's not about January, February, March, April, May. It's just a cycle in time where for just period of time is where everybody should be reaping, where
Yep.
everybody is
Yep.
sowing because we
Yep.
understand that this is the time. I feel if we did that, we would function again. There'd be such a level of harmony in terms of how we operate because it's like we're all harvesting at the same time, so we're helping each other to harvest. We're all sowing at the same time, so we can help each other to sow. We're all reaping at the same time, so we can help each other to reap. Anyway, I'm gonna just plant those out there.
Yes.
I'm in this realm of just looking to create these utopias. So that is like I didn't even have a comment. It was more like imagine. I really can't wait for that time to come. And actually, when Taj was speaking just now, that thing about time being really like there is no such thing as time, like because we do have to project ourselves in the future or in the past, but we're always in the present. But it's that what we take ourselves out of the present and either go back and regret something of the yesterday, or we're anticipating something in the future, but we're taking ourselves out of the present. But in essence, there's only the present.
Yep.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna
It's
cede the
only
floor to
right
you
now.
guys to chime in. As our subject matter experts, let me pin you guys. So the floor is yours. You could chime in on any aspect of it. You could answer questions off of what we listened to in the video first. You could address our questions or comments, and or you guys could just dive in. But I'll cede you guys the floor, and you go ahead.
So first of all, really, we're really happy always to see this video because it's that of uh, not only a person, but for us, it's someone who we call a prophet. You know, it's someone who had the task to bring that knowledge to the West for us to
Mm,
be able to grasp a little bit more of all of this body of knowledge, but also the knowledge of itself. And he did it because of you know the it's like a mission, all right, that he brought, and we are the continuation of that mission, actually. So
uh, okay,
he
and
he he
thank
he
you for
was
that.
there.
That gives us good
We are.
context. And actually, I don't know if you're planning on doing it now, or if you want to do it in another session where you go into more
Yeah,
detail about who he is. Were you planning on doing that now?
absolutely, absolutely. Like maybe more details is necessary for sure,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll try to introduce concepts first, but I want to make sure to acknowledge not only all of the things that he did, and for us, and he still does for us, because us being in the Kemetic culture, we know that he's still there with us. He's still right now with us, and most initiate knows it pretty well. So we are really grateful to be uh, and we want to make sure to be at the level of what he could bring for the humanity. All right, so I'll let my sister start with answering quite a few questions that were asked or comments, and I'll bring something else. Okay.
Just to finish up your introduction, it's important to say his name. It's Nebala Musa Morodedimbe. He's a Dogon high priest, and you know, it's those 2,000 years that we're living here. It's the knowledge was close to humanity. So that's what Hikeheba was saying, that mission to help humanity. What we were saying at the beginning, we feel that it's important to go back to our humanity, and this Dogon high priest had the mission to pave the way for us.
And I'm just sharing on the screen for those who, just so everybody could get the name, Naba Lamusa Morin Dingbig.
Moro Deni Big.
So in case anybody wants, like, again, and I'm pleased, guys. I'm hoping we plan a session where you could go into a lot more detail about him, his history, his lineage. But again, just for anybody who's hearing his name for the first time, I want to just give you guys the opportunity just to Google, to look him up, look up the great things that he's done. So I'm just sharing the name on the screen here so everyone can grasp it. Okay, thank you, sister. Go ahead.
Yeah. So he's just a master who paves the way for us to help us go back to our humanity, to the knowledge of the beginning of the world, the beginning of time. So without further ado, it was interesting to hear you, and thank you for your comments and all you bring. And what you know, what strikes me is that it's the depth of your intervention, and at the same time, I can see how this society that has been built up for the 2,000 years has a strong layered in how we perceive things. You know, we have a depth of understanding, and at the same time, our perception is kind of dilutes that understanding. You know, because we are part of where Ikero was saying it. We are part of where we are living, and it influences us in many ways. So basically, I noted a few things. I will let Ikero go into all the details, but I noted a few things that I wanted to bring out. What's your name again?
Brother Ibrahim or me, Pharaoh?
Ibrahim.
Okay.
Ibrahim. Okay. Sorry. It was interesting. You were talking about the evil. Sorry about my pronunciation sometimes. We're talking about evil. You know, that's in our house and everything. And sure, I think the notion of evil comes really from religion. The notion that I would like us to think about, I don't want to go into detail, it's more about corruption. The corruption that's close to us. Like when we're talking about evil, it's like outside, but it's more about the corruption that we live in, that we evolve in, the corruption that we have inside. So it just always, we have to fight to have that balance all the time between, you know, the getting what's pure and the corruption. It's always there. So we always have to balance that. So that's why I'd like us to, you know, think more about that instead of evil that's outside of us. And then again, we talk about being human is being vulnerable. And that also, I think it's the society that, when we were saying that the society tries to get us away from the truest self. So most of the time you're projecting things that that will get us to, to get away from
si tu veux,
our
tu peux
strength.
t'exprimer en français and I could translate it too, eh? Because
Yeah.
it looks like you have things that you want to say and you're trying to find the right words to say it in English. But definitely, if you need to, you could express it in French, and I could do my best to translate it for you
Yeah,
too.
it's okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and yeah, just to say, because the notion of vulnerability, I say it's more about humility. Being human, it's about principle, more than vulnerability. Vulnerability. It's about principle, and the principle gives you strength, and to go through that principle, you have to have humility. So it's those two things that we have to juggle with: the principles and humility. So it's not quite vulnerability.
Can I respond to that? Or you not finished? Okay, sorry.
Yes, please. Well, you can go ahead, because while I was listening to you, I know maybe you had a deeper meaning about the vulnerability, but at the same time, I feel like it's faiblesse. It's a weakness,
Yeah, you see,
I
yeah,
perceive like a weakness.
yeah, exactly.
But
You see, like,
being human, it's more like, yeah,
yeah, you see, women are more close to the earth. Women are more close to the earth. Femininity is more close to the earth. It's gracious. Gracious when you're gracious. So being vulnerable, there's no way a person can get to himself or herself, but without being trusting of what you're trusting on a journey. Even being a good person in this life, you have to be vulnerable. That is okay. I'm going to be good anyways. Doesn't matter what people are doing. That makes me open to everything. I know what's happening, but I choose to be good in my society. That makes me very vulnerable because I open my heart to everybody. That is vulnerable. So in my vulnerability, I now begin to understand the wisdom of being vulnerable. Then I gain strength. A woman is nurturing. A woman is giving. The earth is giving, and we are destroying the earth. It's vulnerable, but it's still giving, but it's strong at the same time. And it's the mother, the cradle. So being vulnerable is not a bad thing in that sense. Being vulnerable, you're a provider. You are the mother of the house. You take care of everybody's emotion, but doesn't mean that you get it back. So you're basically like, vulnerable. To become oneself is to be vulnerable. Any master, any prophet who has come on this earth has come to this earth to do good for the people. So he puts his life vulnerable out there because he's following a principle. He's following a principle that through his vulnerability, he has designed a principle to guide him or her as he works. So he's vulnerable because he's open. And when I say evil, because when a child is born with vulnerability and as pure as pure. There's no religion, there's nothing binding that child. So the child is evil. Anything that is out of that purity that has come to make human beings start to think that we are not breathing the same air, we are not eating from the same earth. How can I get from this person? That, for me, is evil. You can call it any name. That's fine. I agree. But the end point is to destroy that which is good, whether you like it or not. So for me, that's it could be evil, it could be the words you use. I don't have problem with the words. I have the insight and the knowledge of what the concept, what it does. That's the energy force field. So now you can see I'll put it like this, we live in Canada. There's a concept of banks. We have banks. We have CBC. We have National Bank. We have Desjardins. And we have all these different institutions. But they all write checks. And they write checks. And the checks have what we call money. So the end point is to spend the check. It doesn't matter what bank it comes from. everybody want to spend that check. So what I'm saying is that, like, I love all the I accept the wisdom from you and from the brother, from everybody. These are the institutions bringing the checks. But what we do with the knowledge, we get the message that, because we are saying the same thing at the end of the day. We are saying the same thing with different languages. The point is to be unified. That's the spending the check. So everybody must understand that. So when I say words cannot explain that which was before words, it means that even the checks that come, RBC, Bank of Montreal, all these things, the end result, we spend it to buy food we eat. There's a function. So I love and I hear everything you're saying. The words and the way we say the words, it's just the words. But the function of it is what I'm talking about from a spiritual perspective, if I may, please. Thank you. So I really love it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that perspective. And also I'm just looking at the time. So I know we have about 10 minutes left or so. So I just want to make sure
Wow,
that
so soon?
I know time flies. Time flies, but you know, so I just want to give you guys that. And I don't know if Brother Ikariba also has anything else he wants to mention before we close up, but time really went by really quick. But it's because we're talking about a good topic. So I know it's gonna happen.
Absolutely. I mean, we can spend a lot of time discussing things now. And one of the things that we receive in terms of knowledge related to our situation is that there is confusion sometimes. You know, confusion comes from the way we even the words we even use. You know, it starts from there.
It does. It does.
The words I'm going to use for you to grasp my idea or the concept behind, they already are tainted with maybe your experience or your culture, and all of those things have been. It's like, on our perspective, is pretty hard to see that, but they have been hijacked. All right, meaning words within themselves, they have a way to bring about clarity, all right, for our mind. Things like in nature and in tradition, it's normally simple. As you were saying, the person who's candid and vulnerable is able to see things, right? But now, when you start to put words into things, that's where confusion can come. And we have a lot of confusion. There's one a verse or a story in the Bible that talks about that concept, you know, of making sure that we devise human beings based on words and language, all right? And from that point, they were not able to build anything together again. So what I want to bring right now on the table is that when we were at the age of civilizations, we grasped a lot of things related to words, all right? And in our beloved land, those languages were called hieroglyphs, right? And there are reasons why we come back to them, and there are reasons why it was erased. All right. So after back 18 centuries ago, if you were caught using those words, you would get killed. You will actually get killed. If you were caught teaching those words, you will get killed. We know the exact date of the edict that was pronounced by, I think it was a Roman emperor, Justinian. So he said, okay, from now on, nobody will use those words again. Because if you want to dominate the Kemetic culture, you need to hit at the nerves that makes a lot of sense. And now, by hitting that at that time, it ushered in, like my sister was saying, more than 2,000 years of confusion, literally based on words. All right. So going back to the words, we shouldn't see hieroglyph as something mysterious. It's a language like any other language, but the there's something specific about it is that it connects us with nature. By that, what I want to say is that you can see it the way it's written. People even say, "Oh, we're drawing." No, it's you writing things, and the way it was made is for us to make sure that we stay connected with nature. So
Mm.
that's one of the principles that is really important because of, you know, you might have theories, you might have beautiful theories, but if it's not coherent with what you're able to experience outside, if what's within yourself as an imagination is not coherent with what's really outside,
Hmm.
then uh, you are in the middle of a confusion, and you can bring a lot of people into that. There are a lot of people who talked about here that contemporary. I know you if you know the book of Hariri, who talks about all of those narratives that were built in order to unify and build societies. Those are based on words, not knowing exactly the meanings of them. I mean, we have the tendency to look after principles to grasp them, but there's another layer, and that layer has its own set of uh, corruption, if I could say it so. That's why you have
Mm.
politicians, the media, all of them use words just to trick us. Some There was a sister who said something that I really like. She said it's a spell. Spells are words. Spells. And once you are into that spell, you have to go back to etymology. You have to go back to the origin of the things. Like, for instance, even evil comes from the word devil. Devil comes from a
Mm.
German translation of diabolos. And diabolos means from Greek to divide. All right.
Yep.
So if you look at the principle of
Yep.
what's
That's why we have a
division to divide,
democracy.
you'll understand a lot of things related to the connection that it has with corruption, the connection it has to, dissociating not only families, countries, but even the person within himself,
Yep.
disconnecting the body from his spirit,
Yep. Yep.
disconnecting the body from his genius,
Yep.
disconnecting him from his
His
reincarnation.
divine being. Yes.
So all of those things that was practiced on us
Yep.
in different ways, right? We can go deeper into it. Even in the moment when we were born, all right? All of those things that were practiced on us was made to, to put space for corruption, all
Yes.
right? So
Absolutely.
I want to add that notion. I know we don't have a lot of time, right? But for us, as Kemetic people, we insist on the fact that this is totally part of being alive. All right. There is all of these dynamic things happening. So we focus on purification to purify ourselves of things that were kind of inevitable.
Mm.
So we tend to purify ourselves even before going back to grasping knowledge, before going back to connecting with the divine, if before going back to that connection, because there is a relationship between purification and the words of the gods, and corruption and the world of the evils. All right.
Well
So
said.
that's just the one thing I want to add.
And like as we're talking, I'm making notes, and um, so we're gonna deep dive over the next couple of weeks, clearly in the calendar, in time, and yes, but hold on one second. I'm just gonna as we're preparing just to close down, and I feel not parallel, like right after that one, we should prepare the series of etymology where we go into the real meaning behind words. Because again, similar to not being able to properly meet each other without knowing our proper location where we're coming from, if using the calendar and timing. not being able to speak on using the same language, so to speak, is also something else that's gonna create confusion unless we go back to the root and make sure that when we're talking, we're using the root words and meanings for what they're supposed to be. So I think this is an amazing opportunity for us as a community
Mm-hmm.
to deep dive
Yep.
on foundational things. Time, calendar, huge. Etymology and understanding the meaning of words is also going to be huge. So I'm just planting that seed for us. Now we'll do our quick tool in the tab. Everyone, just final words, reminding people where to reach out to them. Any last things you want to say about the session today? And yeah, and how people could reach out to you and anything else you have going on, please share that as well. So we'll start, Brother Ibrahim. I seen your hands up, then Sister Tasha, you'll go.
Yeah,
So you go ahead.
yeah. I'll wrap it up quickly. I just want to put out there, like like you always say, everybody is in a different stage in their understanding and wisdom. So every person is different, and that's
Yep.
beautiful. It's nice.
Yep.
Um, in the state of I don't come from religion in that sense. I don't come from religion in that sense. I come religion is a way in which a person chooses to introduce them to live their lives here on earth as a spirit. So you can, like the prophet did, he was able to structure his own life to become sort of a religion. So which is great. So visions, and anybody who's ever been in a state of vision knows that in the state of being in a vision, there are no words. Communications, there's no words in vision. That's a that's a state, a higher state. So what in that state, what we should do, like as a people to aid us, our lands have been stolen. Our lands have been stolen, and we are people who should be connected to our lands. So wherever we are, we should really, from a humility, from grace, from gracefulness, from gratitude, from all these things, we should appreciate the earth. We should look at the flowers and see the magnificence in the flowers. Listen, breathe the air that we breathe, and really give glory. Thanks for that. We should appreciate all the things. When a person starts appreciating sincerely all the things that are given by nature, then the person draws closer back to God. So talking about spelling, it's a spell. It's a spelling. I am under God's spell. God's spelling. I'm under the God spell. So it's a spell, but I'm under God's spell. It's not human spell. It's God's spell, which is to be kind, to be nurturing, to love, to strive towards loving each other, to strive towards having a clear mind, to be humble, to be grateful, to see the miracles that the days present, the sun, you, the people here, and to really fall down and really know that I am nothing. I am nothing, because these things are so miraculous that I am just nothing. Come from that state of, like, I am part of this gratefulness, and to wrap it up, knowledge comes from such a vision. Pure knowledge comes from a state of gratitude, knowing that this is amazing what has been done, given to us, and to just be open to it and love it. And from there, hopefully we can design our own structure, our lands, our children, and all kind of stuff. That's where I come from, and it's one of peace and harmony.
Thank
Yes.
you, thank you, brother. And remind people how to reach out to you if anybody wants to connect with
To
you.
reach out to me, you can connect with House of OFC, and you get to me. It's as simple as that. So,
Oh, thank you, my brother. Sister Queen Taja, love
Yes,
Oracle.
darling. Yes, my dear. Oh, all right. So to close it up real quick, you guys said so many things I wanted to say stuff about. The vulnerability thing, though, I wanted to talk about the vulnerability. I want to talk about just that connection. Look, you know, when I looked up the word vulnerable, it literally means being easily hurt, damaged, or influenced, either physically or emotionally. Right? So, there's something that comes to my mind where the ex head of the CIA, William Casey, he said that when everything that the American people know about themselves is false, then we can take control of the people. You understand? And that's the message of the world. We didn't lose our land, we lost our minds. We lost the power of our minds. And instead of being easily guided in a positive way instead of allowing ourselves to be emotionally guided in a positive way. We started to ignite ourselves and we started to tell ourselves, well, you're different and you're different. And you know what I mean? Like when I think about the war of the Hutus and the Tutsis, me and my sister would have been in warring tribes. That's my sister. But I got a big nose and she got a skinny nose, so we would have been fighting. And that doesn't make any sense. So our minds is what has become vulnerable because we have now allowed ourselves to become easily hurt. We've now allowed ourselves become easily divided. And what we have to do is come back into a state of diversity. We don't need any more vulnerability. We need diversity. We need to be able to look at ourselves and see the difference between us, but see that we're all the same. We need to know that, hey, I got 10 fingers just like you do. Yours might got a white layer on it, while mine might have a brown layer on it. But we still could toil and still do things together. And when we hold each other up, then I can help you rise and you can help me rise. But as long as we let the experiment of division continue to rise in our lives, then we will continuously be looking for a solution on how to get back. And this is why God says, look, I just need you to work on you individually and break that war within yourself. And when you break that war within yourself, you'll break it on humanity. Remember, they had to use a lot to divide us. They had to use our minds, our education, our skin color, our hair difference. They had to use, you got crooked teeth compared to straight teeth. They had to use every single solitary thing so that when everything we know about ourselves is false, that was the way for them to use the democracy to be able to divide us because they told us that we were free while they were robbing our minds. Love you guys.
How do we connect with you, Queen?
taujaloveoracle.com. You can find me there on everything: YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram. I'm a one-stop shop, and I appreciate you guys for checking in. And we're going to get you right where you need to go by getting your mind back in play. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what it is. And brother Ikaiba and Queen Kefsta, if you guys also want to share your final words and let us know how we could follow up with you guys, and then I'll close us up.
Personally, my final words will be like I was trying to do when I started my intervention, is just to put some words to think about, to because of just put some words to think about, to meditate further. So I'm just going to do that with another word because it's closer to Tasha's intervention about time, that time is linear. It's again, it's a question of perception. So I'm just leaving us to think about time as cycle. And I'm diving also into the question that you had, Ferraro. You talk about you'd like to be back in the farmer's way of doing. And exactly, the 365 days are called the farmer's year.
Yep.
165 days of the year.
That's for the crops.
And it's made of 4 times farmers year of 365 days. So we are back into the cycles. In your vision, you spoke about it.
Right.
So that's what I'd like us to meditate about, time as being cyclic.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Queen.
Yes.
Right. And brother Ikaiba, and then how do we follow up with the House of Kepta or the just if we want more information about you guys' teachings?
Well, she brought a really great telling point. So having cycles, things as not necessarily linear, but kind of something evolving in a cycle is something that is really important within the culture. So that's why we also try to use the word of tradition. Tradition is repeating things, right?
Mhm.
So we are really only grateful. We're still there for presenting this all this body of knowledge. I mean, you lose nothing just to learning of it. You know, you won't lose anything. And I'd like to add one last thing regarding the point I want to make sure that stays within this conversation is that words uh, is almost what started it all. You know, even if you
Mm.
go to the Jews, to the Christians, if you look at the what is called the Bereshit or the beginnings of things, it was through words that creation came
Yep.
about to
Out of
become.
the mouth. Yep.
And the comedic, it's actually a comedic inspiration, of course. And there are reasons why words have those powers, you know, and these powers are actually something that even creates what we try to call energy. You know, what is energy? Energy comes from somewhere. You know, we
Yep.
all made of energy, and all of those energies are specific, different, diverse from each other, but they all stem from one source. And there are, uh, fortunately, there is clarity, right? Once you go towards a step of knowing exactly what happened, which is called the cosmogony or cosmology, use that words, uh, you try, you start to grasp the knowledge and the wisdom that was engraved inside of those cosmogonies, so those narratives. It's deep, 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 deep knowledge. And still today, if you look at the stories of you have in science fiction, they still use the same basic stories
Mhm.
because of its coherence with the universe, its coherence with understanding even ourselves. All right, so I want to put an emphasis on that word, on the word, and I want to make sure that to know that um, there is a divinity who had one of the most important divinity who had the responsibility of that, and brother Ibrahim, uh, his name also has that the name of that divinity within him, so it means something at some point, so though all of those meanings um, have power, energy, and we live within those things throughout all of lives, and that's another mystery that we will be happy to not only not necessarily solve, but give you some insights of it. All right.
I respect.
All right.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
that. And Brother Captain, how do we connect with you guys at the House
We're
of?
through the House of OFC for now, and you'll see us next week, same hour. Please be there, and we'll be happy to hold you.
Yeah, yeah, brothers and sisters, thank you very much. And to my dear brother, my name, I know the energy behind my name. It was told by me by my father. So you see, it's there's energy behind it, and the energy governs what I do every day. So
Yep.
yeah, I'd like to break down with you and go down deeper into it, and so we can better harness our differences to support where we're going. You
I
know.
love this. I like it. And again, the more we talk, it's like I'm making notes. So it's like, yeah, it's we'll get into etymology. And I guess while we're talking etymology, we'll talk about history of names and stuff like that, naming rituals,
Mm-hmm.
naming practices. And because again, we're here to just create this opportunity. This is the House of OFC, guys. So it's a little bit outside the box. And so my final words is again, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the conversation. I'm grateful for the spirit just leading it the way that it has. As I go through my journey here on the planet, it is I'm here here for evolution. I'm here for really setting an example of this is how we can be. This is how we could bring together various people who share different different levels of consciousness, different spiritual beliefs, different religious beliefs, and this is how we could still get together and build community. So I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful to each and every one of you guys. Reminders, you guys, as you know, within the OFC, we have things going on all the time, every week. So you could join us every Tuesday morning. We have the OFC Weekly where we get on Zoom from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. just to get together, to build, to network, to get to know each other, and to build a community, to support each other however we can. Every Thursday morning, CKUT 90.3 FM, we have the platform where we give you space to share with the community who you are and what you're doing. And you guys know we're here every Sunday. So you guys, I thank you for supporting and encouraging the OFC. Just check out ofccommunity.com on everything, and you can join us back here every week. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week, Sunday, same time, same place. Again, guys, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Send you guys love, light, and strength. And I ask that life continue to bless each and every one of you, that we'll be able to get back together and continue to build community. Hotep, amen, and ashe. Love, 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 guys. See you soon.
Everyone, really
Thank you, guys.
appreciate this conversation.
Thank you.
And
Thank
happy
you.
Mother's
Thank you.
Day again, all the mothers out
Happy
there.
Mother's Day. Happy
Send you
Mother's
guys
Day.
love,
Happy
send you
Mother's
guys
Day.
love, strength,
Yes.
and light.
Love you all. Have a beautiful
Love you all too. Yeah.
Peace.
Ooh, all right, y'all. That's that for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys should check out the replay at OFC. That is One Full Circle Community on YouTube. And so I appreciate you guys for being here, and have a beautiful rest of the day. I'm about to come back and do some readings. So I'm going to shut this one down and start it over again. Love you guys.